Now that you have a better understanding of how to use the three-part test to analyze laws, we will go through different strategies to strengthen your analysis. First, we recommend that you make your point clearly and briefly. Pinpoint the problematic provision. Explain why it's problematic according to the three-part test, and then provide one or two examples of the risks and real-world human rights impacts. Second, when explaining why a restriction is problematic, you can strengthen your argument by using supporting analysis from authoritative bodies, such as courts, domestic and international, regional human rights commissions, UN treaty bodies, UN resolutions, and UN special rapporteurs. Third, provide alternative provisions or solutions to the problem the government is trying to address. If the government is addressing a legitimate aim, then we recommend that you offer an alternative provision or a legal framework that addresses this aim without violating international human rights. In our experience, governments are often receptive to advice on how to improve a draft law in a rights-respecting manner that does not violate their international treaty obligations. Fourth, build your organization's capacity to understand the digital ecosystem and how it impacts human rights. Offer to be a resource for the government as it develops its laws and policies on technology. You don't need to be Bill Gates or have a PhD in data science, but even a basic understanding of issues like internet infrastructure, data flows, and social media operations can help you identify more proportionate responses to problematic issues in your writing. We recommend looking at the civicspace.tech platform to get started. We have also included a list of articles and websites in the resources section at the end of this lesson. Fifth, consider providing examples of legislation and best practices from other countries. Examples from jurisdictions that have already attempted to tackle these complex issues can be particularly helpful and impactful for new and emerging topics, like data protection and artificial intelligence. Just remember that even the best legislation from other countries needs to be adapted to your context in your country through inclusive, meaningful policy discussions. Sometimes governments are not receptive to normative human rights arguments based on international law and standards. In these cases, consider supporting your normative arguments with data about the economic or business costs of restrictions. For example, it's very easy to find data about how an internet shutdown has impacted a country's economy. That can often be used to explain why it's not in the state's best interest to resort to an internet shutdown. We hope that you find these tips helpful. In the following lesson, we will explain how to apply these tips to an example of hate speech. Then we will move to Chapter 4, where we will discuss advocacy strategies for legal reform.